Good morning, dear students. I am Dr. Savita Tidame. I welcome you all in the next lecture of the subject Economic Zoology. And in this present lecture, we'll be studying the sponge culture, that is chapter number 10 of the subject Economic Zoology, and topic sponge culture and its significance, why the sponges have been cultured, why the sponges have been reared, for what purpose, right? So that will study in its significance or economic importance of sponges later on. Let's see, what are the sponges. Sponges are nothing but the pore bearing organism. Number of pores you can see here, the numerous pores are there in their body, hence they are kept in the group porifera or phylum porifera, right? Everybody knows that. So these sponges, most of them, they are marine in habit. They are found to be present in the marine habitat, and very few species of the sponges, they are inhabiting the freshwater habitat. So very few are there which are present in the, or which can be cultured in the, or seen in the freshwater habitat. But in the marine water, huge number of sponges are there, and near about 3,000 species of the sponges, they have been noticed from the ocean or seas, that is from the marine water, right? But out of all the 3,000 species, only few species, or you can say only few members, are cultured or cultivated on the commercial basis. There are near about 18 subspecies, 18 subspecies of the sponges which have been reared or cultured on the commercial basis, and these 18 subspecies or 18 species belongs to genus Euspongia, Spongia, Hippiospongia. Okay, so these are the three main genus, that is Euspongia, Spongia, and Hippiospongia. They are being cultured on the commercial basis, right, in the sea. So again, the type of sponge commonly used for culture purpose, the most preferable is the Euspongia officinalis. It's a subspecies. Number of subspecies are there. They have been selected, utilized as an cultured form of animal, that is sponge. All right. So let's see which are the countries that are involved in bulk production of the sponges. See, USA, UK, Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, Turkey, Syria, like number of other countries are there which are engaged in production of the sponge culture, right? But out of them, the Turkey's sponge, they are means the Turkey's produces finest quality of the sponges. Their sponge quality is very very good as compared to the Egyptian sponge, which is again very poor in quality because of again the habitat, or you can say quality of environment, quality of the um, nutrient available in their ocean, in their sea. Depending upon that, the type of sponge is again finest or poorest quality, that is depend. Now, culturing of the sponge. Why the sponges have been cultured? What is economic importance? Why do we need them? We do need them for the, because of their power of regeneration. Because of what? Power of regeneration. If a larger sized sponge is cut into smaller pieces, so each small piece is having that ability to regenerate into a complete sponge, right? So this is called as a power of regeneration. Because of this power of regeneration, these sponges can be reared, can be cultured on the commercial basis. Okay, now there are two main methods of sponge rearing. The first method is the floating raft method, and the second method is commercially or commonly called as a disc method, and it is again little difficult to adapt. Why it is difficult to adapt, that we'll see while we studying this method. Now let's move ahead. Okay, the floating raft method. The first is floating raft method. Actually, the raft method is further, no doubt. All these two methods, they are floating, but they are little modified. In this case, the vertical raft method is there, in which the solid blocks are kept at the base of a sea, and then two bamboos, or you can say bamboo raft, is hanging into the water, standing into the water, and again intermittent bamboos are been joined, and then the cut pieces of the sponges have been attached to this, and then these allowed to grow further. So like this, you can say rectangular square form of rectangular method, triangular method, right, elongated method. So these are the vertical raft methods, and one more is there, that is called as a horizontal raft method. See, mention here, horizontal line method, right? So there is a variation in the raft method, but both are the floating raft methods. Okay, now in the vertical raft method, it is the further expansion of the floating disc method actually, and the larger sized bamboo frame were constructed and anchor on one end so that they could float vertically into the water. Here you can see this larger sized bamboo frame is anchored to the solid concrete base, and that solid concrete base is found to be settled down on the bottom of the ocean, right? And this frame is again hanging vertically, to which small strings have been attached. Number of such strings have been attached, and to each string number of small pieces of sponges have been attached, and these pieces of the sponges, they allow to grow for 2 to 3 years, so that they can attain a we can say commercial size, right? Sometimes the sponges, they may take long time to become full grown or to attain a commercial size. That again depends, right? So this is what the vertical raft method. Now let's move ahead and see the another floating raft method is a horizontal line method. Now here you can see the raft, that is again bamboo strings are there which are attached to the nearby floating, or you can say nearby steady object, and to this two bamboo raft or bamboo frame, horizontal lines of the or horizontal bamboos, they are attached, or horizontal strings, they are attached, and to that horizontal strings a small cut pieces of the sponges, they have been attached with the help of a string again, or a we can say some kind of a thread. Okay, so these small pieces, as they are hanging into the seawater, they are getting their nourishment slowly, they are growing further. Again, the distance between two sponges is not more than say 6 inches. I think so. Yes, it's not more than 6 inches. So if it is less than that, then the growth of the sponges may be hampered. So the proper distance is need to be maintained. Right, here is something given, 1/4 inch rope is there. This one, 4 to 5 centimeter, 4 to 5 mm in diameter rope is there, and then 150 lb test nylon line is again uh, drawn from or stretched from one horizontal rope to another horizontal rope. Sponge spaced approximately 40 to 50 centimeter apart on the 150 lb test line. Okay, so this measurement is given in this horizontal line method. Let's move ahead and see what is the next method of sponge culture. Okay, when such a kind of sponges or floating raft has been prepared, so if the sponges, they have been attached to such a floating raft, when they become commercially ready, means their size become big and can be ready for harvesting. How does they look? They look like this. These are the ropes which are hanging to one another, or which are hanging to border ropes, and then to each rope number of small pieces of sponges have been attached like this, and they allow to grow into the seawater. They become larger. Here you can see the larger sized pores. What they are? What are the larger sized pores? This, what are they? They are osculum. What they are? They are the osculum. Okay. All right. When they become such a bigger size, they are ready to harvest. This is what the indication. Okay, so the concrete disc is again a second method of the sponge culture, sponge rearing. In this case, the casting of the concrete disc approximately 30 centimeter in diameter. What? 30 centimeter in diameter concrete disc is prepared like this. Okay, and to this concrete disc means this concrete disc is again 5 centimeter in thick, 5 to 6 centimeter thick concrete disc is been prepared, right? Quite bigger in size, you can say. A small wire was inserted into the center of the disc at this point and during casting and was used to hold the sponge cuttings to the disc, right? As so whatever wire is inserted to this sponge, or you can say the concrete disc, to which the sponges, small pieces of the sponges, they have been tied, they have been attached, and because these small cuttings or small pieces of the sponges, they are going to grow further, no? So this disc is settled down to the bottom, and then the string or thread, it is found to be hanging into the seawater, and to this hanging thread small pieces of the sponges have been attached, and these pieces need to be again spaced equally, so need to maintain a specific distance between these pieces so that each each piece will get enough space for growing, right? Each piece will get enough space for growing. So what is said here? A small wire was inserted into the center of the disc during casting and was used to hold the sponge cuttings to the disc until the cuttings could attach itself as it grows, right? So when such a small pieces will grow further, it will again look like this. But the thing is that difference is that this is what horizontal, and the string method, or you can say this one, the disc method, in which the pieces of the sponge, they will appear as a vertical and to the center or attached closely to the string, right? So this difference is there. But both the methods, that is the floating raft method, is quite commercial as compared to the concrete disc method, because this concrete disc method isn't give a good result for sponge culture, right? Because it is quite commercial, or you can say not commercial, it is quite economical. Why and how it is economical? Okay, preparation of this concrete disc is again economic, right? 30 centimeter of such a disc is been prepared, again a string is attached, no doubt it will be required. But again, when this disc is prepared, the person is needed to put it at the bottom of the sea properly, at the proper place, right? And then what? Not even such a one or two disc is not sufficient for the sponge culture. No, number of such a disc need to be prepared, and number of people, number of labor, they are also required for placing them at a proper site, as well as when there is harvesting, each disc need to be removed from the base, right? And each disc need to be collected so as to collect the commercial sponges. So this is again quite laborious work. So this involves a labor, requires money, more money. As compared to that, less output is there. So this concrete disc method is not usually preferred, but initially it was designed and was in used. But as compared to this, the floating raft method, that is vertical raft method as well as horizontal raft method, they are easy to handle, they are easy to operate, and easy to collect the sponges, right? Easy to collect the commercial ready sponges. So these methods are preferred. Now let's see why the sponges have been cultured and for what purpose they are collected, right? Commercially, how they are economic or economically important to us. Okay, so economic importance of sponges, right? So as natural sponges are resistant to acids, They are tougher and easier to clean. What is this statement? Natural sponges are resistant to acids. They are tougher and easier to clean than the artificial sponges, and they are still essential in pottery. They are still essential in surgery, for painting, for polishing, for filtering, etc. So the natural sponges, they are used commercially. We've made this statement many times. Natural sponges, they are used commercially, but for what purpose? Because they are more tougher, because of their properties, certain properties, that they are resistant to acid. Because of this property, they are used in the potteries for cleaning purpose, right? Even they are much tougher and easier to clean than the artificial sponges, right? Because of that, because of these properties, they are used in painting, in polishing, in filtering, in number of such a works, right? Now, natural sponges in 1930s was collected in huge quantity. Natural sponges in 1930s was reared and you collected in such a huge quantity. But in that time also, that is in 1930s, out of total collected or total commercially collected natural sponges, near about 70% of the produced sponges were used in the industry, were used for industrial purposes. So you can imagine 70% of the total harvested sponges has quite bigger number, right? And that 70% was used for the commercial, that is industrial purposes, for again preparation of varieties of things from the sponges, right? Then sponges are being used for several purposes in nurseries too, even in the hospitals, even in the household things. Sponges, they have been used, right? Why they have been used in nurseries, hospitals, or in the household things? Because of their any property, any guesses do you have? Yes, because of their water holding capacity. Their capillaries used to hold a large amount of water, and because of that, they are used in the nurseries, right? In the hospitals, because they are tougher, easy to clean. They are used in the hospitals, even in the household things also. They are used in lithography, for painting and decorating, for tile laying, for glazing the potteries. Means they have number of such applications in painting, even in preparation of various things, even in the preparation of the potteries or shining, or you can say preparation of the um, body sponge and all that, right? So beside this, they are used for cleaning the machineries in larger industries, no doubt, right? For the cleaning, because they forms a good cleaner, no? So means base for cleaning, right? So they were used in the larger industries for cleaning purposes. But nowadays, my dear students, because of the more advancement in the science, number of artificial things which we have prepared, and these artificial things, they have now replaced humans, as well as they have now replaced natural things like sponges. So previously, when the sponges were used in all such a things, like in pottery, figure, I mean in the surgery, paintings, polishing, filtering, like that, or in the nurseries, hospitals. But now, today, their place is been acquired by the artificial things. Artificially, we have made so many things which are going to replace the natural things, right? Similarly, like we are getting advancement in the, even in the industries, that is automation, automatic working machineries. Nowadays they are available in the market, as well as they are implemented into the industries too, which again minimizes the workload, which again minimizes the labor load. So ultimately, labor, they are not getting acquired for the means they are not having sufficient job opportunities in the industries. They industrial they are trying to minimize the labor right? They are trying to minimize the labor load, and ultimately people, they are getting more and more jobless. They become more and more jobless. Okay, fine. So the sponges, they are now replaced with a number of such artificial things. uh, they are also used as a cushions. They are very soft, so they were also used as a cushion. And from where we have collected this material, these are the resources, site source, from where we have collected entire information. So my dear students, in this lecture what we have studied the sponges, which are the sponges which can be cultured, or means yes, which can be cultured on the commercial basis. We also studied the countries. We have a brief look at the countries which are engaged in sponge culture, right? We have studied the methods of sponge culture, that is floating raft method and disc method. In the floating raft method, two methods we have studied: vertical raft method, in which again many types of variations are there. Square raft method, rectangular, or you can say triangular raft method is also there. And again, the horizontal raft method is again easier to operate, which we have studied. Even the disc method, concrete disc method, how it has been used, why it is not easy to handle, easy to use, that also we have studied, as well as economic importance of the sponges, why sponges they are rare, they have been cultured. So this also we have studied. With this, thank you so much.